Hello, my name is Ben,
And my name is Josh.
and welcome back to FPL Graduates. And yet again, we are back, and it's Friday. How buzzing are we that it's finally Friday again?
I know, it's like there's no room for game week reviews anymore. It's just constant football, week in, well, not even week in, day out. It's been mental, but are you doing good, Brownell?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I mean, apologies for not having, the usual game week reviews, but it's busy down in Graduates HQ. Lots of work going on. So I'm sure over the next couple of weeks we'll get back to doing some game week reviews. But for now, FPL Friday's got a very special guest, haven't we, Josh?
Yeah, we have indeed. It's FPL Ulster, number 5 in Northern Ireland. He's doing bits this season. How are you doing, mate?
All right, lads. How are you? It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on.
No, not to worry. We're decent, I do believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have you on. Yet again, we're getting on a guest who is much higher in rank than us.
It's not hard at this stage, though.
It isn't. Just outside top 1K right now?
Yep, just outside top 1K, 6th in my country. Not exactly number 1 like the guest last week, but we'll take 6th.
We're getting some very consistent players coming on FPL Fridays, and we're just sat here, chilling out with the rest of the world down in the depths of the FPL table. We're going to a bit of guest background, so tell us a bit about who you support and why you support the teams that you do.
Well, I'm from Northern Ireland, so obviously I do support my local Ballymena, but since we're talking about Fantasy Premier League, I'll stick to the Premier League. I followed United since birth. My dad's just brought me up, and I never really got to experience much success with them until I was older. I've sort of been through the last 8-year period of just travel. It's not been brilliant. So I missed Man United's glory days, but yeah, I follow United at the minute.
Yeah, we managed to squeeze another United guest on, as Ben always seems to bring up. So
Mate,
it's got to be near 10 now, isn't it? Surely.
I mean, I think we need to just pass the duties over of finding guests to me now. We'll find some non-United fans or something. But now, all joking aside, it is great to have you on. And we'll talk about this again. Manchester United assets. Who do you think we should be getting? How many assets should we be getting into our team right now for Fantasy Premier League?
For me, you can't ignore Luke Shaw. I've been saying it for ages. I just think he's brilliant going forward and everything. I think he gives so much, and obviously Bruno, even though the last 6 game weeks, few blanks, was it like 1 goal that was a penalty? But
yeah,
we'll just ignore that. But going on the rest of the season, he's been brilliant, and I'm not an owner of him this week, and I'm worried not having him. But we'll see how he does. And then there's obviously Cavani as well, who's hit form at the minute, especially in Europa League and things. But who knows?
Yeah, some solid options. I think with Bruno, like I think I mentioned it on Glenn's live stream this week, he's not been getting the returns, but he has been playing decent. Like, I'd be more worried as an owner if he has gone missing, but he's been playing all right and seems like he's doing his bit. But yeah, we'll move on. And what we're talking about next, we're talking about the Game Week 32 review, because we haven't even done one yet. It's absolutely mental. Do you want to go first, Ben?
Yeah, I'll go first and I'll get into mine. This is what it's looking like at the moment. 55 points. And again, loads of players coming off the bench, loads of players dropped, loads of players injured. I've been decimated with injuries this week in my fantasy team. And you'll see for my team next week how it's shaping up, because it's not looking good. In goal, Mendy or Forster, none of them played. Mendy had what was it, Josh? A dental problem?
I saw that on Twitter, but who knows? Someone might be trolling.
I mean, he's back to playing again this week, so we won't worry about it too much. Rudiger in defence with a 7-pointer. We'll take that every day. Luke Shaw, jinxed again by Josh. He recommends him 4 weeks in a row now, is it? Without a return.
You brought him in, lad.
on the recommendation of a fool, apparently. Ruben Diaz in defence. It's annoying that they lost a clean sheet, but we move. And Dallas in there as well. Disappointing in the defence. In the midfield, Lucas Moura, 6 points. We'll take it. Jota and Fernandez again. no returns. It was an overall pretty disappointing week. Kane with the 24-pointer. We'll take that. I think before the game week, if you said to me 24 points, Harry Kane captain in a double, I'd be pretty content with that. And Ian Acho again scoring in fine form. And yeah, 55 points for the week. It's not too bad at all. I think it was just a slight red arrow. So we're just outside 500k again. Frustrating. It feels like one step forward, two steps back for me right now. And yeah, we'll move on with that. And yeah, that's how my team looks this week.
Yeah, it's definitely. I wouldn't say it's the worst team. It's just I think a lot of people were getting unlucky. Like you mentioned with like Lacazette, obviously brought him in that week, and he's getting injured against the Fulham team who don't really look too great. What do you think of Ben's team?
Yeah, it's a really solid team. Obviously, it's interesting as well with the two Spurs players, with Ryan Mason coming in charge. Don't know what sort of lineups he's going to stick with. He did start Bale the last game. I'm also a Bale owner. Also getting a goal as well, which was nice. But it'll be interesting to see how he does. And the Lacazette attacker I see as well. You've took a punt on him, but I like staying away from Arsenal. I put them. I was on a last man standing last week. I stuck them down against Fulham, and they've let me down. So I've got a bit of a hate relationship towards Arsenal at the minute. But
we love to see it.
Really, it's a solid team.
Yeah. Right. So I'll move on to mine, and then we'll do yours last. Save the best till last. So yeah, we started with a 53, but I took a -8. I almost like preempted injuries because that's what's happened to everyone this week. It seems like everyone on Twitter is taking hits this week. So I went with -8. I had to bring in some of the important boys like Salah. I didn't have Lingard, so there was a few boys I needed. Emi Martinez went with in goal. In hindsight, Areola got a point more than him, but I was hoping for a bit of a better performance from Villa, especially from Martinez, who we know is a save point magnet. He has been all season long. Trent, 8-pointer. The guy's averaged 40 points he's got 40 points in the last 4 weeks, which is absolutely crazy. Loving owning him since I brought him in. Luke Shaw, probably slowing down in the FPL returns. United seem to be conceding like 1 goal almost like every week at this stage. Hopefully that changes this week. Whether it will or not, hopefully it does. Rob Holding next. He was someone I brought in. I was gutted that Arsenal lost that clean sheet. It's to a penalty as well. So not really. I didn't really see it, to be honest, but I don't think it was his fault. Gundogan, 1-pointer. Very disappointing. This man scored like 2 points in his last 4 game weeks. He's should have been probably transferred out this week, but I've actually had to keep him because everyone under that price point, the Rafinhas, everyone like that, they've all just got injured out of nowhere. So it's not ideal having him in at the minute. Mo Salah obviously got benched, which was really not ideal as he was one of the big guns that I brought in this week. Bruno Blanc, as we've mentioned, Jota. Ever since I brought him in, he hasn't returned, which is weird because he seems like one of their best players right now. And it's similar to Bruno in the fact that he seems to be playing really well, but he's just not quite getting those returns right now. Lingard doing what Lingard does, just returning every single week. It was a throw a penalty at the minute because obviously Declan Rice is out injured. Kane captain, Ben covered that really well. I agree with everything he said. And then obviously Patrick Bamford, 2-pointer. On the bench, we had a 7-pointer from Christensen, who was like almost, I think it was 50% chance of him playing going into the game week, hence why he was 3rd. And then Ben White getting suspended, although he's got a clean sheet in that week. So not a good week. It was a red arrow, I can't lie to you, but we move on. And the hit was more of a long-term aim instead of like this 1 week. So hopefully it picks up from now.
Yeah, I mean, not bad. You're kind of in a better position now for this week than me, that's for sure, in terms of your squad. I mean, yeah, you're looking in a good position. A couple of players you want to get out, Gundogan, right? Yeah, so it's not too bad. What do you think of Josh's team then?
Again, very solid team going forward. You can't ignore Trent at the minute. I think he is must own. I've seen something there the other day. He's got some of the most goal involvement or chances created out of the Liverpool attackers and everything. So he makes up for his price, 100%. Yeah. Then Martinez, I think, was worth the hold. There was a whole thing when people were wildcarding a couple of weeks back. He had Liverpool and City coming up, and people were starting to bring in Leno and Mendy. Then look at them now; they're getting rotated now every week. So I held Martinez as well. That was a good move, and Holden's a good buy as well. Very cheap with David Luiz out injured, so he's solid to have in your team. And then Lingard, I don't know how he's doing it, but he is. He's getting goals every single game. You can't ignore him.
And that was a thought behind it. It's like his ownership's crazy right now. He's like, same with Iheanacho. He's my transfer in this week, Iheanacho, and both of them they just come out of nowhere. Both probably everyone would have said at the start of the season, no one's going to be owning Iheanacho and Lingard come the end of it. But hey, look at us now. We got both of them in.
I don't know. You say that about Kelechi. He looked good at the back end of last season. So, I mean, he went under the radar a bit because of the starts the season Leicester had, but yeah, he's come through and he's shown his potential now, right? So that's all we can hope for. So last but by no means least, FPL Ulster, have you got your team ready?
Yep, just share my screen here.
Yeah, no worries. Everyone in the comments as well, you let us know who you're captaining this week because it's a great week for captain, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah, there's a few good options and there's one or two standouts, but it could be a week for differential captains.
Definitely. Here we go. So yeah, talk us through your team.
Very sort of similar template to use. I finished in 69 points this week, not too bad. It wasn't really a green or a red arrow. I'd call it a grey arrow. We sort of stayed in the same area. But yeah, there's Martinez, as I was saying earlier. I've held on to him. Trent's been a brilliant buy. Shaw's been brilliant as well. I got quite lucky with my Rudiger. I actually started Cancelo in the starting 11 and he ended up getting benched, so I'm not too worried about that at all. And then, as you say, with Gundogan, 2 points in his last few game weeks. And with Pep rotation, he has been one of the players I have got rid of. And Lingard, self-explanatory. And Salah has been one of the ones I've held for a while now. Because there was a period he went 4 weeks, blanked it, and loads of people were getting rid of him. But just looking at them fixtures that he's got, you can't ignore them. Newcastle, Southampton, West Brom, Burnley. And with the penalties, he's just unreal. I couldn't imagine not having him. Jota has been on form, unlucky. He didn't get a goal last game, but 3 points isn't awful. Bale to get a goal finally. Mourinho seemed to neglect him. I brought him in for Son when Son got injured, and I did sort of regret the decision. But if he gets a few more starts now, I did end up holding on to him. And then obviously Iheanacho on hot form at the minute, and Harry Kane hopefully back for next game week.
Yeah, big game for Kane with Sheffield United. It's a bit sceptical. A lot of people saying if they're not going to risk him for the Carabao Cup, are they really going to risk him for Sheffield United? But we'll have to wait and see with that one. Team looks really good. It's just crazy because when you look at mine and Ben's teams, it's very similar players in there, the Iheanachos and everything. It seems like those sort of differentials, like with your Bale there, him scoring and obviously taking some bonus, it's almost like picked you up in getting the 70 pointers compared to our 50s.
Yeah,
very, very, very decent. Now it is time.
Here we go.
It is that time of the week. Josh, talk us through the rules of this game.
So FPL Ulster will have 60 seconds to answer as many FPL/Man United questions. I'll have the timer. Ben will do the questions, and the highest score is set by Georgia, 8 points. Very respectable. She broke it a couple of weeks ago now. The lowest score we've had is 0.5, so you really can't be getting any lower than that. Surely.
I'm not going to lie, I've been dreading this. See my memory, it is awful. But I'll give it a go.
Right, I am ready whenever you two are, so
okay. I'm ready if you are.
Yeah, count us down.
All right, 3, 2, 1. How much is Pogba on FPL currently?
7 million.
7.6. Which Man United asset currently has the highest form rating on FPL?
Greenwood.
Cavani. What is Martial's price on FPL?
8.1.
8.6. Who has played the most minutes for Man United this season in the Prem?
Harry Maguire.
Correct. Other than Bruno, who is the most owned Man United asset on FPL?
Luke Shaw.
Wan-Bissaka. What price is Greenwood currently on FPL?
7.1.
Correct. Which players received the most yellow cards for Manchester United this season?
Wan-Bissaka.
Maguire. How many times has Man United lost in the Premier League this season?
5.
4. Other than Bruno, which Man United player has scored the most FPL points this season?
Rashford.
Correct. How many clean sheets do Man United have in the Premier League so far this season? We'll let you answer this one.
8. No, 8.
12. How many was that overall?
3.
Was that a 3-pointer?
No, I'll take that. It's better than I thought I was going to do.
It weren't bad. Some of those questions at the start, I was like, mate, I wouldn't even have a clue.
See the prices of players, not a clue. I only know Greenwood because I brought him in literally about half an hour ago.
No, I think that's respectable.
Three's not bad, you know. That I turned it upside down. Like I made my harder questions at the top of my list this week. So you've done all right, I think, in terms of the trivia quiz. And yeah, we'll move on now and we'll look at the fixtures.
Yeah, there's a lot of good fixtures this week, as I mentioned, the captaincy pick. If you were to choose like a specific one or maybe a couple, save some for us, which ones would you go for this week?
For me, the standout, I might be a bit biased here because I'm not a Bruno owner, but I'll go for Salah against Newcastle.
Yeah,
Newcastle, they're just a shambles. Steve Bruce, don't know what he's at, but I think Salah's a brilliant option. He was rested the last game. He's almost certain to start. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I think we have to agree. Well, me and you have the same Liverpool triple up, so I think all three of those look good. Ben, which fixture are you looking towards this week?
I've got to be looking towards that Leeds against Man United game. Man United don't lose away from home. It seems to be the case this season against the Leeds team without the creativity of Rafinha. Could be impacted a lot, and you know, I think United have to win to keep their very slim chance of finishing top alive, if you so will. So
yeah,
I think United could do well. As you said earlier, Greenwood's in good form. Cavani's in good form right now. Bruno has looked good. If the returns haven't been there, he has still looked quite good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the Man United game this week.
Yeah, I have to agree with both your choices. A plethora of options from both teams, as we've mentioned, the Trents, Jota, Salah, etc. from Liverpool, and obviously, as Ben mentioned, Bruno and co. For me this week, I think taking it a bit outside the box, there's a few differential teams that a lot of people are going towards. We see Wolves defenders against Burnley. Obviously, Burnley don't score a lot of goals. A lot of people going for Brighton players as well against Sheffield United, understandably, as Sheffield United have gone down already. And then also Villa, West Brom, and Leicester, Crystal Palace. I've seen a lot of Iheanacho captainers on the old Twitter. So let's see how many people keep faith in, 40 minutes time. Let's have a look then.
Oh, just don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
There are a lot of punts to take this week, to be fair, with even Villa against West Brom. If you want to go Watkins, really go outside the box. Trent against Newcastle. Some people might be tempted. I know you went for a Trent captain the other week, so who knows? And then
I think
against Palace.
Yeah, that's also a good fixture. I think if I was going to choose a Liverpool player, I'd probably actually choose Trent, just because I feel like he offers just as much attacking output. Maybe not quite with the penalties, but he obviously takes free kicks, corners, just as much as maybe as a Jota, as a Salah, because obviously he's got that clean sheet potential as well. So I think if I owned all three of them, I'd probably lean towards Trent, if I'm honest.
Yeah, so we'll move on. We'll move on to the captain pick and team reveal, because I think that's what we're leading on to and alluding to in terms of the captaincy picks. Josh, do you want to show what your team's looking like right now?
I can indeed. So we're gonna. It's actually looking all right. I'm fielding 11, which a lot of people obviously. It is a blank game week if people aren't aware. No City, no Spurs, no Fulham, and someone else who are probably not as FPL irrelevant, should I say? But yeah, we're starting with Martinez in goal. West Brom at home. I'm hoping for a clean sheet. I was expecting more from West Brom against Leicester. They seem really good in their last two games, but there was going to be a loss at some stage, and Leicester are a good team to probably lose to for them. As I mentioned, Trent, Newcastle home, really nice fixture. Shaw with Leeds away. Obviously, not really going to have to defend as much with no Rafinha down that side, which is a great bonus. Christensen, West Ham away. Hopefully he plays. I think since I've had him in, he's accumulated -1 points. And then the 1 week he returns, he was third on my bench, which is not ideal. Holding plays tonight against Everton at home. It'd be interesting to see how Arsenal do. I'm not really holding a lot of hope, pun intended, with that one. Salah, Newcastle home. He's on the vice at the minute. He's a great captaincy option, but I feel like with my 3 Liverpool assets, I can sort of cover that Liverpool game quite well without having to captain him. Bruno Fernandes leads away. Again, Man United, like Ben mentioned, don't lose away. Bruno's got to get a goal, a dodgy penalty at some point, and I'll guarantee you he's going to return this week. Jota, as mentioned with the Liverpool boys, he's just playing well, so I'm happy to keep him. Lingard, Chelsea at home, probably the weakest player in my team, if you could even call it that, because obviously Chelsea defensive record is so good, but we have seen them concede goals like did against West Brom. I brought in Iheanacho for Patrick Bamford this week. He was my transfer, the one and only transfer I made this week, and he's a must-have right now. He's just in good form. He probably could have had a hat-trick against West Brom last night, so hoping he can replicate that for me. And then Neil Maupay as well. I've had him since the blank game week. I was hoping to start Ben White, but obviously that suspension's really annoyed me. That Sheffield United fixture was almost what I was keeping him for. But yeah, Sheffield United, as I mentioned, they're already relegated. Let's hope for some big returns from Maupay.
Yeah, decent team that. You got the 11 players in, which I haven't managed to do. Don't think you can blame it on my skill, but just luck in I think in that case. But yeah, the captaincy on Bruno, very safe one. What are we thinking about that one?
Yeah, you've prepared your team really well actually for this blank game week, being able to have your 11 players. Maupay is very differential. I rate that move. And Iheanacho in for Bamford this week, no problem with that at all. Bamford playing United, and Iheanacho with Palace, so it's pretty set out there. Bruno captain, nothing wrong with that at all. Salah vice, really solid team going into this week.
Yeah, Ben, do you want to bring up your team? I know you've stolen my captaincy pick this week, shall we say?
Josh is crying about it, but you would if you're behind me in the mini league. So yeah, we're looking like this. We're fielding a 10 this week. We took a -8 to get that 10 as well. So I'm not ready to take a -12, not quite yet. But other than that, I'm just gonna write this game week off, I think, already. And just probably focus on the weeks going forward, which is why I've made the transfers I have. So in goal, Mendy, he will be playing. Tuchel's confirmed it unless he lies in his press conferences, which I hope he doesn't. But yeah, hopefully he plays. Shaw, Rudiger, Dallas in across the back. I've got hope that Dallas gets an attacking return rather than a defensive one, and Shaw gets an attacking return as well, So that's going to be equally ropes. Connor Cody is one of the transfers in. I had to transfer out Masuaku because he's got hamstrings like breadsticks, and I brought him in as a differential, 4.3 million, cheap option. Picked up an injury pre-game last week and then is out again this week. So that's a bit ropes. I also brought in Lingard for the fixtures, and because he's so high owned, I think it was only a matter of time before I brought him in. I brought him in for Rafinha, who is also out injured this week, not going to play. Jota is another one that is he going to play or not? Klopp said he will be fit and he's okay, but who knows? I've captained Bruno this week, just hoping for a really high scoring game in that Leeds United one, to be honest. So the last transfer I made, Ollie Watkins in for Lacazette, who's out for 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, they're just piling up, absolutely piling up. And then Iheanacho, vice captain. Then on the bench is the boys that aren't playing. De Bruyne, I decided not to transfer him out because he is now training, and in training probably won't make the final at the weekend, but I imagine he will play some part in the Champions League midweek, whether that be off the bench. Hopefully it is, and then hoping that he'll start in that Crystal Palace game to get a bit of fitness back. And then, the Spurs boys on the bench as well. So we're lining up not confident at all of getting much more than 50 points, if that. I'm not confident at all for this week, but got to hope that the coming game weeks we get a bit luckier with the injuries and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely not the worst team given the situation that you got stuck in with this week. Loads of injuries. I think a lot of people are feeling the wrath of the injuries this week. But yeah, we'll move on. And do you want to bring up your team, FPL Ulster?
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, surely it's going to be a better situation than mine right now, right?
Can't be too hard with that one.
Right, here's my current team for this week. I had actually saved a transfer for this week, so I had 2. I didn't have to take any hits, luckily. I've managed to get 11 players somehow. I still have my free hit from a while ago, and the original plan was to use it this game week. And then the announcements came out. It's looking like we're getting a double in 35, so that seems to be my plan at the minute. But yeah, I brought in, most people will be bringing in Cody. I brought in Sice this week just to be that wee bit different. If he's maybe got a bit of more of an attack in return, I don't know, but we'll see how that goes. And Greenwood, I was tossing turning on this one because yes, he's been brilliant form, but we know what Leeds are like, how open they play, and that game has Daniel James written all over it. And I can just see Greenwood being benched that game, but I've went for it, hoping that Ole starts him on his form. But seeing how well Daniel James played against Leeds in that 6-2 win back at the start of the season, I don't know. I'm worrying about that one. But apart from that, I'm happy with the rest of the team. Maybe could have got a better player than Bamford in, but I don't really want to take a hit or anything. But yeah, I'm happy enough with my team this week.
Yeah, it looks decent. I love Greenwood. I agree with what you're saying, though. I think Dan James is a slight risk to him, but maybe he starts up front. That's the good thing about Greenwood. He's quite versatile, so he can operate in numerous positions. Defense that's class. I love the Slice pick. It's one team that I sort of avoided and probably was a mistake doing so, was getting a Wolves defender in. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I like the transfers you've made in this week. Definitely very decent. And yeah, you seem pretty much set up now for the rest of the season, especially with that free hit. I kind of wish I saved one of my... Well, I still do have my bench boost, but how I'm going to use that and prepare for that in the next couple of weeks, I have no idea. So
more -8s.
you know what I mean? Might have to be. But yeah, you look very much set up to maintain your rank at least, and then hopefully you can push up into, a very, very high rank going forwards. So yeah, you're looking in a really good position.
Yeah, hopefully get a good free hit, send me a wee bit further up. Aim's obviously number 1 in my country and in the top 1K, but I'm happy enough where I am if this was how the season was to end.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very, very good season from you. Yeah, we'll move on, though. We'll take a look at our differentials of the week. These players have to be under 10% owned, and you think they're going to hopefully perform well this week. There's a loads to choose from, because as I mentioned, the fixtures this week are absolutely class. So, yeah, Ben, have you got one ready?
No.
You haven't got one ready?
No.
We'll come to you then, FPL. So if you've got one ready, who are you going to go for this week?
I was just looking at it there before the stream because I just remembered I haven't looked at this or the percentages, but I've picked out 2. I saw Saka is at 7.7%. They do play Everton, but I think people seem to think Everton are better than they are. I'm not saying they're bad, but
yeah,
I think there is potential for returns there. And James Maddison with 7% ownership against Palace. Leicester obviously looking good at the minute. We know what Maddison can do. So yeah, I wouldn't see any problem with anyone bringing him in. Good fixtures for Leicester as well.
Yeah, there's some very nice picks, to be fair. I like Maddison. I think he's going to be one of those who'll be coming into some form recently. You saw Vardy last night. He finally managed to get a goal and assist. A lot of people have been waiting for that. Ben, do you want to go on to yours now?
Yeah, so the player that I've picked out is, again, another Leicester player with a lot of love for Leicester right now with a game against Palace. I'm going to go for Timothy Castagna of Leicester. He's 5.7 million, 5.8% owned. I mean, he got an assist in the last game. He picked up a couple of bonus as well as the clean sheet. And I think going forwards, he looked ridiculously dangerous. I believe he hit the post as well in the last game. So he has got a really big attacking threat and a really high ceiling for points returns, like almost kind of like Dallas sort of heights of returns that he could get. So I'm gonna back Castagna this week as my differential.
Nice, I like that one too. Fun fact: Castagna's both his double-digit returns, both coming against West Brom. I saw that on the old Instagram this morning. Veltman is going to be my one. Brighton face Sheffield United, and Brighton have been very, very solid defensively. I think they've kept clean sheets in their last two, and they faced Chelsea in one of those games. So decent defensively. Veltman's probably the best attacking and going forward option out of their defence. 4.4 million, 2.6% owned. Very decent option in my opinion.
Yeah, I like them. They're all good differentials in my opinion. Now we'll move on and we'll take a couple of questions before we finish. So if you guys in the comments could get your questions in and we'll answer them. Harry asked, Salah or Bruno captain? I think that's the big question this week, right?
Yeah. What are we thinking?
I mean, for me, I'm going to be biased. I've already went for Salah, but again, no problem with Bruno as well. Brilliant fixture against Leeds. You could really go for either.
Yeah, like Ben said, I think both of them, it'll be interesting to see their effective ownerships because with Bruno, I reckon it could be topping 100% again, like we've seen in pretty much every week prior. For me, you can literally flip a coin. I think it really won't matter too much. I don't think one will massively outscore the other. It'll be really tight in terms of their points this week, in my opinion. What do you think of Brownell?
I'm thinking that if I had both of them in my team, I'd probably go Salah, purely because the fixtures are that bit much nicer, and Salah's has had a few more returns in recent weeks than Bruno. But I'm going for Bruno myself. Because I'm hoping that he gets a return. He's due returns and he's due a haul. So that's what I've got to hope for. I think either way, either one you captain, it's not the wrong choice. Both decent options.
I can't lie, you captain Bruno is like making me just want to change it for the fun of it.
Oh, he really wants to catch up, doesn't he? He really wants to. Okay, we got one here. So pick two midfielders out of. I'm not going to read them all out, but if you could pick two out of those listed, what would you go for?
Traore's tempting. I actually considered him for my own team, especially with Villa's fixture this week. Then obviously Maddison, he was my differential pick, and probably I know you want two midfielders, but I can't ignore Greenwood as well. Just the form he's been in has been brilliant. But again, there's the worries. I don't know if he'll start this game week.
It's a tough one. There's a lot of nearly there midfielders, if you know what I mean, with all those picks. If you're going for a 1 week, I think Trossard is a great shout. I can see Brighton doing well in that game against Sheffield United. Obviously, Sheffield United have nothing to play for, so yeah, and they literally have not looked a single bit good since Wilder left. Ben, if you was going to choose two,
I would go for Sigurdsson and Maddison. I think Sigurdsson's becoming almost that main man in terms of creativity, and he's a lot more less injury prone, if you know what I mean. Like, he's going to be in that team week in, week out, so he's going to consistently be able to produce performances, and having a good run in the team I think is really important. And James doesn't play as much as I think he should. He kind of, picks up injuries here and there and doesn't get a run in the team that means that he can get into a good sort of form. So yeah, I'll go Sigurdsson and Maddison just to be that little bit different,
Yeah.
Do I need to double up on Chelsea defence or get Aspi out and get Greenwood in for Rafinha? Very long-winded question. What are we thinking?
I personally have never really been a fan of the double Chelsea defence. They've been defensively solid, but we've seen in recent weeks that they can concede at any stage. And also the rotation in the centre-back positions, as well as the keeper. We saw with Kepa coming in. I know Mendy might have been injured, but it's just not for me. I would definitely go and get Rafinha out. I think Leeds' fixtures as well for like the next 3 aren't the best either. So, yeah, for me, I would say yes. What about you, FPL Ulster?
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. I've got at least one Chelsea defender. I don't think you can completely ignore them, but we know what Titchelton Bowl is like. We've seen Aspilicueta, who was nailed on before that game week, and he was dropped. And then Mendy was dropped for Kepa for some reason. And then in terms of the Greenwood and for Rafinha, don't see anything wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
Leeds, again, as you said, they've got some tough fixtures. Maybe bring them back in. They've got 3 brilliant fixtures at the end of the season, but nothing wrong with getting rid of them at the minute.
Nice. Are we going to do one more question and then we'll wrap up here?
Yeah, Greenwood or Rashford? Now, I'll go straight in and say I think Greenwood this week. I'm not too sure Rashford's going to play this week.
He hasn't trained yet, I don't think.
So I don't think Ole will risk him, but we all know what he is like. So yeah, I think Greenwood's probably the better one to go for because I don't believe Rashford's going to play this week. I don't know what you think, Josh, and FPL Ulster. You might have a bit more information following.
Yeah, he just hasn't trained, and he said he might train tomorrow. So just on that basis alone, I probably wouldn't risk it personally. Greenwood is in great form, and as I mentioned earlier, he seems to be playing up front as well. Cavani's constantly with these contract talks. He might not even feature. We're unsure yet. So, yeah, Greenwood without a doubt for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, 100%. Rashford, Ole has seemed to be playing him in the last few games, and as if he's running on one leg. Like he completely used him to his full potential, and I think it's completely killed him. But Greenwood, for the price as well, I think is the better option currently, 100%.
Yeah, have to agree. But is that going to be the end of FPL Fridays this week?
Yeah, another week of FPL Fridays. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. And thank you, FPL Ulster, for coming on and sharing your FPL knowledge. I hope you've had a good stream with us.
Oh, it's been brilliant. Thank you very much for having me on.
No worries. I think all your links will be down below as well. So if you haven't already, go check him out. He makes some good content over on TikTok, Instagram, you name it. He's pretty much there. But yeah, that wraps up. Hope everyone has a good game week. It starts in 20 minutes, the deadline. So make sure you get your teams finalised. Otherwise, you're going to miss out.
Yeah. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all the socials. And yeah, I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
I've been FPL Ulster.
Hey.
And we'll see you guys
later. Have a good game week, everyone.